Welcome back to Freedom to Nourish. Today's episode is for anyone who's ever asked the question, quietly or out loud, can someone actually recover from an eating disorder? And if you're a parent, a partner, a friend, a caregiver listening, you might be asking an even heavier question. Should I still hope?
Diet culture and toxic wellness trends can make you feel like you're at war with your own body, constantly doubting yourself and chasing impossible standards. But it doesn't have to be that way. I'm Kathy Salata, a recovered anorexia survivor and educator, and this is Freedom to Nourish. Each week, we'll have real conversations, share stories, and give you tools to finally make peace with food and respect your body. No more food rules, no more body shame, just the freedom to be yourself again.
I want to start by saying this clearly, honestly, and with care. Yes, recovery is possible, but it may not look the way you expect, where you're diagnosed, treated, weight restored, done. Eating disorders often don't work like that. And my own story may give you a little perspective on this. I went to an eating disorder treatment reluctantly. I went through the entire process from inpatient to IOP, which is intensive outpatient, about 4 hours a day, and then on my own. I reluctantly made the decision to go to treatment, although at the time, I really thought it was about the food and that the treatment would last about 30 days max. I discharged from residential treatment and was able to go home and attend day treatment. I'll be honest, I was losing weight while I was in outpatient. And as I reflect now, I see the bumps in the road. First, I learned so many tools, so many coping skills, but I did not unlearn those bad habits. And number two, I was away for months. I'd undergone months of that daily intensive therapy, worked my ass off. When I got home, everyone else was the same. And guess what? I fell back into my old role of caregiver, easygoing, dependable, reliable, which goes back to number one. I didn't unlearn those bad habits. So years later, I entered treatment again, humbled. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the best. I realize now that I had remembered all of those tools from that first set of treatment, and I wasn't starting all over. It was such a wonderful realization because I tend to be a perfectionist, and if I want something, I'm going to go out and get it. And I could not understand why I could not eat like a normal person, air quotes there. Something so simple, even a child could do it. I felt humbled. I felt hopeless. But guess what? I showed up every day, mind, body, and spirit. And I chose to reframe the treatment process as an opportunity. I was blessed to be surrounded by the most wonderful women that reminded me that life was meant to be lived, connection, and giving and providing support. So, what do we mean when we say recovery? Because recovery is not the absence of struggle. It's the presence of tools, the presence of insight and flexibility, and most importantly, self-compassion, even when life gets hard. To me, recovery means food no longer controls every thought. The scale no longer determines my worth. My emotions, even those difficult ones, can be felt without immediately numbing or punishing my body. Lapses, relapses are recognized early and not hidden in shame. Recovery is progress with detours, not perfection. Now, is an eating disorder the same as alcohol addiction or narcotics addiction? I get this question often, and it matters. There are shared traits, those obsessive thoughts, those rituals and rules, and that temporary relief followed by guilt and shame. But there's a critical difference. You can abstain from alcohol, you can abstain from drugs, but you can't abstain from food. And that is what makes eating disorder recovery unique and complex because food is necessary. Our bodies must be fed. And eating happens multiple times a day, every single day. Imagine facing your fear several times a day, every day. So, eating disorder recovery isn't about never using again. It's about rebuilding a safe, flexible relationship with something that is essential to survival. That takes time, that takes patience, and that takes support. So, yes, recovery is often, almost always, nonlinear. So let's be honest. Most people in recovery will have 5 steps forward, a pause, 3 steps back, those moments of doubt, and then moving forward again. It doesn't mean that recovery isn't working. It means the nervous system is learning something new. Those neural pathways are being embedded. Healing is rarely loud. More often, it's quiet. Choosing to eat even when anxious. Saying, I need help sooner. Letting go of a food rule. Feeling an emotion without acting on it. And for caregivers, this is important to hear. A bad week does not erase months of progress. A hard day does not mean failure. So, is there ever full recovery from an eating disorder? Some people reach a place where eating disorder thoughts are rare and manageable. Others may notice old thoughts pop up during stress, but they no longer obey them. Both are recovery. Recovery isn't about never having a thought. It's about having a choice. And that choice is powerful. And for caregivers and loved ones out there, if you're supporting someone with an eating disorder, I want to say this. Your hope matters more than you know. Recovery is often sustained not by constant motivation, but by consistent compassion. Not by pushing, but by staying. You don't need perfect words. You don't need to fix this. What helps most is curiosity instead of judgment, patience instead of panic, and seeing the person, not just the behaviors. And please hear this too. Your well-being matters as well. You're allowed to rest, you're allowed to seek support, and you are allowed to hope and protect your own heart. When you set boundaries, that is inspiration for us. So recovery is not a switch that flips one day. It's a practice, a process, a relationship rebuilt over time. And yes, it is possible. Not perfect, not linear, but real. And if you or someone you love is walking this path, you are not alone. And you are not naive for believing in healing. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is keep choosing nourishment, even on those hard days. Nourishment for the body, nourishment for the mind, and nourishment for the heart. Thank you for being here. This is Freedom to Nourish.
If you're ready to step into a kinder, fuller life, subscribe now and join me each week for Freedom to Nourish. Because your body deserves respect, your story deserves to be heard, and you deserve to live fully right now.